Hi, everyone. Welcome to our AI for social media and marketing webinar with SheAI. My name is Vaishnavi, and I'm the founder of khaa-lo, which is a platform connecting small creators and small brands and getting great, authentic UGC content out of it. Today, we're partnering with SheAI. They are making AI education more accessible, and we have Stephanie here with us today. So without further ado, I'm going to let Stephanie talk about what we're going to do today.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. We're also live here on my right in LinkedIn. So we're going to talk today about something that's been bothering a lot of freelancers and entrepreneurs, which is how to manage their marketing and social media content, but not design things with AI to AI. We can definitely well use tools to help us as small business owners to scale at least, or at least to take a little bit of time to focus more in what we started the business for rather than these trivialities or admin stuff. So just for the people who are listening live, I'm sharing a presentation on right now on Luma. So you have in LinkedIn below a link where you can join us there if you want to see the presentation. If not, you can just hear me talk. That's fine as well. So, So coming back to AI for social media, we've created this workshop and we've delivered quite a lot this month as well, and multiple communities, because we see that it's a pressing matter for content creators, for agencies, for service providers, for freelancers, like I was mentioning. And I think we can give you a couple of tips that can help. However, I like to start by, getting to know a bit also the crowd. So I don't know, maybe you can type in where are you from, or where are you, like connecting as well. For example, I can start. I'm based in Barcelona, Spain. I see that we have some people connected. So yeah, I'll be reading some comments. See. Okay, so in the live, we have some people also joining from Spain. Welcome. Also, we have our co-host today. Where are you joining us from?
I'm here in Dubai.
Nice, Dubai. Good.
We're a very international bunch. Also, if you are putting something in the chat, make sure it's not just going to one of the hosts, because we do have some people that I see they're joining in from India. We have someone, I'm assuming they're joining us from the East Coast, based on what they said. And yeah, so we are very global here today.
Lovely, lovely. So thanks a lot for coming. So let me start by then now introducing myself. My name is Stephanie. I am a founder alongside Cristina and Maya of SheAI. We are an educational platform to teach mainly women about AI, but don't worry, don't feel bad if you're not a woman. It's just that we did that because let me introduce you to the problem. But we are here to teach everybody. The problem right now is that 35% of women are using AI compared to 54% of men. This is for work, particularly using AI for work purposes. This is a recent survey created by Flex Jobs, and what it creates is a massive gap in adoption that then leads to problems in equality in terms of opportunities for work, in terms of funding, product growth, business growth, etc. These are some statistics as well that I like to share. 90% of the jobs will be impacted by AI in 2023. So this means, sorry, in 2027, 2023 already passed. So we have 2 years to de-skill, it's called, so like relearn new things and kind of like unlearn old ways of doing things as well. The problem is that from these 90% of jobs affected, 80% can be automated, and these 80% are from women. So our jobs are currently held, like positions held mainly by women, easily automated by AI. And only 90% of people who work in digital intelligence and developing AI are female. So this is why we want to incentivize more women to understand the importance of AI. Not only like, yes, there is a nice chatbot that I can talk, and this is how you prompt, and you have these tools that I'm going to give you today, but the understanding the actual significance that you can have in the world, men or female, and really mastering these tools. This is why we created SheAI, to transform the way that we think about education. And we're going to start by doing something practical. Right. So first, before showing any tools, I need to talk to you about your AI implementation strategy. So to be able to implement AI in your business, now I'm talking about small business owners, small brands, and freelancers, entrepreneurs, enterprise businesses, because then it will be a bit more complicated, but the basics are the same. So the first thing is identify a process. Actually, we are like one of the people who are live here today. We had this conversation recently about defining what a process looks like. And what a process means, like, think about, and I invite you now that you're listening, to think how a day in your work looks like. Maybe it varies a lot. It depends if you have a different type of client, or maybe today you are focusing on content creation, the other day on finance, and the other day on sales, and blah, blah, blah. But first, you need to define and establish very clear processes. Imagine that, I don't know, that you decide to take a year sabbatical and leave the business for a year to somebody else. Can that person follow a manual of instructions step by step and replicate your work? At least try. If you can't do that, then that means that you still haven't defined a process. With process, I mean defining what tools are you using, when are you using it, how are you using it, and step by step of what thing comes to another. So we don't implement AI just because we implement AI. We need first to define how we need AI and for what. And that's what the process is going to get you. The second thing is data. So AI requires data to work well. So if you like have your data set of clients, of your products, or your vision of your competitors very well established, even if it's just an Excel, like something basic, then that will really facilitate the way that you implement AI eventually. Then we move on to AI tools, which we're going to talk today, and the fun part, let's say. So I would say that there are tons of, like, so many tools, literally hundreds every week. So just pick three. Just pick three. You learn these three very well. And then if there is an update, if then something else comes, at least you have a basis to come up with the other thing. But don't overwhelm yourself with all the options. So we're going to talk about that later. Once you have the tools, then we can move to automation. So like how these tools connect to each other, so they work in collaboration. Imagine something like reviews, something as simple as that. Very is like essential for physical places, mostly things like restaurants, for example. Imagine that you have an AI agent, which is the last part, by the way, that without you saying anything, can understand that a new client leave your review, then it reads the review and it classifies if it's positive or negative. And depending on that, it takes your tone, so because it knows you, and it can reply in your tone to these reviews. Then keep track of the general sentiment of your business in an Excel, and then give you insights into what things should improve based on customer data. And all of that automatically without you doing anything. And the only thing that you have to do is read the report that your AI agent has created. But to be able to get to this point, we need to like build the process. Okay, so let's talk about, well, this is something that is very curious. For example, that I wanted to share, like what is AI and what is not.
Maybe we can send a poll to the people and see how everyone responds.
Well, it's pretty fast though, but it's something that is interesting to see that AI has become so good that it's almost undistinguishable from reality.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is something that we can use, yeah, like
I
definitely
love,
for apps or
yeah, I love the analogy though.
yeah, exactly. So that's the idea. Okay, the power of AI is here is going no. I read this recent article that was very interesting, and it complies with a recent interview from the CEO of Google DeepMind, and they were asking him like, do you feel AI is overhyped or underhyped? And I thought that was an interesting question because to me AI is very hyped, but with a good reason. But what he said was that AI is underhyped in many areas and overhyped in others. So it's overhyped because we think that it's going to simplify our lives and make us super hyper productive, which is partly true. But also let's, like be real for a moment. And it's like, okay, if we become productive at some point, then we open up space for more tasks to come anyway. So, okay, yeah, but this is not only the potential of AI. AI will transform society, will transform every job. Like imagine discovering medication for illnesses that have long traveled humanity. Imagine restructuring education, like universities, institutions. Reimagine economies shifting, and that includes us all. So this is why it's important to understand. We can start with basics, so we can start with AI tools, something that you will apply today. Okay, so for particularly social media, we've classified it into different steps. Let's say the first step usually is research, going back to the processes, potentially before publishing anything. Hopefully, you do some research before and not just copy the content of somebody else. So I recommend doing the research with these two things that for me have completely well, just change Google. Let's say, like I don't use Google anymore. Like I don't Google things anymore. Maybe I use Google for specific things. I'm gonna show you later for what. But for research, these are my two goals. So first we have Perplexity. Perplexity is a Google in asteroids. It's like really, really good. It helps you research things like market shares, like market trends, sorry, competitor analysis, real life, real time, also sentiment analysis for customers. So like it looks for Reddit threads where people are saying on Discord and social media on Quora about you or your competitors. It can create an article based of that. It can give you news of everything what's going on. Like it's very, very good. And it also allows you to use all the major AI models, things like ChatGPT, Claude Sonnet, Deep Seek R1, Gorg, Llama, like they had so many. So it's really good. Then we have consensus. Consensus is for specifically academic research. So imagine just like you're a nutritionist, and then you want to see the impact that has fasting on I don't know, like women in certain period of their cycle. So because you want to create a post about it or a specific diet about it. So you go to consensus and then you write that as a question. What is the impact for this, and that? And it will give you a summarization that is not made up, something that ChatGPT will do, for example, based on whatever data it had. But rather, consensus, what it does is to pull information for highly reliable scientific peer-reviewed papers that have been highly cited. It takes the information from the top 10 papers and it gives you an answer, like a balanced critical answer, considering the results of these different papers. And also it gives you the citation, so you can go directly to the paper, open the paper, examine it by yourselves, copy the citation. It's just incredible. So yeah, then we go to the next one, which are large language models. Large language models. I don't know. I asked in the chat. Maybe you can write here. Have you ever heard about this term? What do you think it means? Let's see. I'm gonna check also people who are listening on the live. Yeah, things like ChatGPT. Yeah, we're going. That makes sense as well. So large language models are a way of, let's call it a type of AI, more or less, in simplified ways, that process natural language. So processes human language, let's say. It classified it, so it doesn't understand language per se, but it kind of like translate the words or letters into something that's called tokens, and then interpret those tokens and predicts more or less what you want to have as an answer, or what would be a good answer, because it's trained in large amounts of data. And this is in a very simplified way, what is behind things like ChatGPT. But we don't only have ChatGPT. We have other things like, let me just go back here. Okay, so we have things like Claude. For example, Claude is from a company that's called Anthropic, direct competitors of ChatGPT, and is one of the most ethical AI companies, I must say. So they do a lot of research. They also are very efficient. They are number one in coding. They are number one in a creative writing. So this is why it's here. So many people go to the ChatGPT to try to find copies or inspiration for blogs. And what happens with ChatGPT is that it learns from the answers of hundreds of thousands of people, and it creates a lot of like similar answers. So there is not a lot of creativity in it, whereas Claude, it can have the capabilities of going a step beyond that. So it's a really good one, and it also has free capabilities and also a premium subscription model. Then you have, well, the all trustworthy ChatGPT that everybody uses nowadays. So we have different type of models that are more specific, let's say, for reasoning tasks. So if you want like brainstorming on solving complex problems, and or something that is more general, that is for day-to-day tasks, like answering an email, for example. But the good thing is that they just released an that I invite you to have a look at it. That is the O3 that solves both problems. So it has highly reasoning capacities and also good for day-to-day tasks. So it's actually very good. And I'm going to go back to ChatGPT later for content creation to show you something that's cool. Right. We have things like DeepSeek and Gemini. Gemini is the one from Google, another of the most ethical models that we have, because they respect a lot of privacy, they do a lot of testing, they make sure that it's safe, and it has very cool capacities that connects with the Google Suite that I will show you later. And DeepSeek is the last one. The good thing about DeepSeek is that it's something that's called an open source model. That means that it's way more efficient and sustainable also. So it requires less computing power, therefore is a little bit better for the planet. But it does have some like privacy issues that some people are not content, let's say, about, because it does violate some rules of data protection, or the people have some ethical concerns about it. But to be fair, ChatGPT as well is a bit dodgy. So like I would just suggest, like any tool that you use now on, please do read the terms and conditions. It's going to be very important, but these companies are connecting like just taking massive amount of data, and it's worth like preventing just in case. Right. Um, so I have a little activity for the people who are listening now. I want you to go to ChatGPT. We're going to use the new generation model, and you're going to create an image for an ad for a fruit shop. Something fun. I'm going to do it in real time with you, but using the RACE framework. So prompt engineering is a fancy word to say how to prompt, let's say how to talk to ChatGPT to get better answers. And there are multiple frameworks. RACE is just one of them. So I'm just going to use this. So we have role, action, the actual context, and the execution order. So I'm going to go to ChatGPT. Can you see my screen now? Like, or the ChatGPT one, I mean?
Yes, yes, we can.
Perfect. Perfect. The people who are listening in LinkedIn, I remember that we are streaming with a presentation on the link below in the comments. You can find it as a Zoom link so that you can join. Okay, so I'm going to go. We have role is the first one, action, the second one, is race, so it's a context, context, and execution. Okay, role. So you are a branding expert with experience creating mind-blowing ads, for example. Okay, the action is like uh, I want you to create an ad. I want you to create an ad. Context. We are an organic fruit shop in the center of town. Execution. So now we put more specifics. The ad must address people who are worried about healthy habits and nutrition. Okay, so now that we have this, we can see what it comes come up. Okay, so we have a nice copy, da 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 da. Once I'm content about the content of it, then I can start asking to generate an image. But for that, maybe you want to find some inspiration. So I would suggest you go either to Pinterest or maybe you want to go directly to Perplexity, give it a try. In this case, I'm just gonna go with Pinterest to find some ads as an inspiration. So what happened with AI is that it's like very good at imitating. I don't know if you heard about this game that's called Simon Says. So it's like Simon says, you applaud.
Yeah.
And everybody applauds. Like exactly. So that is more or less a good idea of how AI works. So it doesn't create yet, but it is very good at understanding like imitating mostly. So this is why having a good explain like a good inspo ad for healthy habits, for example, could work with AI. So yeah, I don't really like any of this. Let's say okay, this looks a bit nice. So like 10 healthy habits to change your life kind of thing. So I'm just going to copy this image, go back to ChatGPT. Okay, can you create an image with the ad. Here is the graphic reference. Do not copy, but just use as an inspo. And then I copy the image, and then I leave it a couple of seconds. It's just going to take a little bit to charge. So whilst it's thinking, just making sure that it starts processing the information, I'm going to go back to the presentation, and then we will see the results in a bit. Yeah, okay. We'll see. It is giving us answers, so then at least we can choose. Okay, so going back to the presentation, later I'll show you the result because we're going to do something with that result. So what happens if we don't like it, for example, and then we want to change something? So instead of like prompting a